All the Arizona basketball names you need to know and more at Section 7 up in Glendale.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it Locked On Wildcats. The show is brought to you by Gametime. Check it out. All right, now we are going to talk all Arizona basketball recruiting on this. There is a massive tournament up in Glendale. I would recommend you all go if you're able to make it up there. It's a good time. Section 7 will be up there with Shira, maybe hanging out with Frank Caliendo as well, but it's going to be a very, very good time, and there are a lot of Arizona targets. It's a pretty well-run event as well. I would very much recommend going up there if you can. All right, we are going to go through a litany of players, who they are, if you should know who they are, all of that good stuff, how they would fit in at the U of A, and a smorgasbord of other situations. But why don't we talk about the elephant in the room, and that is first Tunde Yesufu. As we've been over before, Tunde is the man. Tunde is incredibly good. He's very well put together. Now, last year when I watched him, keep in mind 2025 kid, keep in mind last year when I watched him, I thought he was good, but I also thought he was close to maxed. He did not look to me like a player that kind of had a next level. In a weird way, he kind of felt like a Stanley Johnson type, which, isn't the worst thing if we're just talking about college, but he didn't look like a five-star type dude. Well, he's played a lot better of late, and he is basically he's blown up. He's gone back into the top 25 in most of the rankings, and He's also shown an ability to make the three and to be able to do a little bit off the bounce, a little bit of creativity off the bounce as well, which is very, very interesting when it comes to Mr. Tunde Yesufu. Now, Arizona is going to be in this one until the very, very end. I would expect it. If you were to ask me, I think that he's going to end up at the University of Arizona. He is, like I said, he's been a priority recruit for a long time. I think that, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were able to garner a commitment this month again, or within the next couple weeks. But he has played very, very well, and he's somebody that Arizona fans should get to know a lot because he's very, very good. Okay, now the next one. Brayden Burries, my friend, Brayden Burries. Very, very good, very, very good player. And I think what's exciting about Brayden Burries is that he is maybe the best guard in the entire class. Burries is absolutely fantastic, and Burries can do a variety of different things. Burries can get to the basket. Burries can pull up. Burries can get to basically wherever he wants to go. Now, he's a little old for his grade, but I do not care about that. That means absolutely nothing to me. And honestly, I think that when you watch him, you can see somebody that is probably going to be in college for a year as a pit stop, and then he is going to get to the NBA. Again, just an incredibly talented player, and very excited to watch him. He's been an Arizona recruit. He's been an Arizona priority recruit for quite a while now. And like I said, it's easy to see when you see him. He's going to be a player that I think when it's all said and done, when you're looking at him, you're like, all right, he's going to be a long-time NBA player. But again, just a really, really good basketball player. And I think the other thing too about him too is that he's somebody that fits in well with what Tommy Lloyd wants. Tommy Lloyd has wanted a player that I think can get his own shot. Burries can do that. He's in good with Carter Bryant's camp, which obviously is a very good thing as well. Like I said, I'm excited to be able to see what he can do. But you watch him and you can tell very, very quickly why he is ranked in the manner in which he is. He is a big-time prospect. Okay, then another one. We're going to kind of go all over the place here as far as grade or ages, everything. Now, this one is Bruce Branch, 2027. Very, very much like Bruce Branch. When you watch Branch, there's a couple things that stand out. First of all, it looks like he is in the midst of a huge growth spurt at about 6'5". He's grown probably 3-4 inches in this past year, and he's putting on good weight. He's, like I said, he's still kind of growing into his body. He's got a nice 3-point shot, comes from an athletic royalty family. Mother's tall, father's tall. So he's got there's a lot to like about what he can do. And he's at Gilbert Perry. Keep in mind with Gilbert Perry, this is Gilbert Perry is the place where, everybody just that's kind of where everybody's going now. That's the public school that everybody wants to be at. I mean, and we've gone through it before. Jaden Williams, Cody Williams, Dylan Anderson, my guy. And also you've also got Koa Pete, going to be a 5-star kid as well, obviously. So again, there's some dudes that, but this kid is probably going to be the next one up. He's incredibly talented. The thing that's also intriguing about him as well is that, you look at him and he looks very, very young, facially, physically, everything. And those are always the kind of prospects that you're like, all right, can do something with those, because watching him, you just know that there's probably a next level that he's going to be able to get to that he hasn't even come close to approaching. Again, he's young. We're going to watch him, but he is like I said, there's a lot to like about him. Very excited to be able to see him and what he is able to do. Another, like I said, another in-state kid that, and we're talking about it. Arizona's got a lot of talented in-state kids and domestically grown in-state kids as well. Not the, the DeAndre Aytons or the dudes that just come to Compass or, the old Hillcrest for a year, but guys that are, born and raised here. And that's Bruce Branch. Then another one that's also kind of on that list too is Cam Holmes. Cam Holmes, 2026 lefty. I have a very, very soft spot for lefties. And another kid that, like I said, with he's Deron Holmes' little brother. Another kid you do not want to let leave the state. He is very, very good. And he's going to be a top 15 player or so. And I think the one thing that you see when you see him is he is another one that is just barely scratching the surface of what he can do. He is a very underrated passer. Not only is he an underrated passer, he's also the kind of dude that you can play at a variety of different positions. You can put him at guard, or lead guard, 2 guard. He can get buckets. He can also get to the he can get to the hoop. There's just a variety of different things that he can do. Again, a very, very impressive player. I think what's also fascinating about him is that he's the player that I think that his best basketball is ahead of him. You look at how Deron Holmes continued to progress during his time in college, and I think it's easy to see Cam doing that as well. Cam is again, when you come from those kind of families, I think that really kind of preach the development, taking it, one step at a time. Those are the ones that are very, very easy to be able to, say, all right, that's an easy kid to project out. And I think with Cam Holmes, that is very much the case. So again, very excited to see what he can do. He can go anywhere. Obviously, he can go. He mentioned UCLA before. Arizona's been on him for quite a while, but like I said, a variety of different places that he would be able to go to. And if Arizona's able to get him, that would be a massive, massive feather in their cap, because this is a McDonald's All-American. This is what McDonald's All-American kids are supposed to look like. And not only is that what they're supposed to look like, those are the kind of guys that, word gets out and you allow them to use their game, but he can also facilitate for others. That's something that I really want with Arizona players going forward, is the ones that can really facilitate for others. If you can get to the basket, if you're able to kind of finish at your own pace, or make life easier for others, that's something that Arizona hasn't had a ton of. I mean, you look at it last year, and they didn't have a lot of that. The year before, it was far less than that even. I think Arizona needs some versatile players that are able to do a little bit of everything. And, if you're able to do a little bit of everything, then I think Arizona is going to be in a better spot. And I think it's also going to help out Tommy Lloyd's offense, because with Tommy Lloyd, the one thing you do know is that he is he's a guy that's going to let his players play. So if he plays, if they get going, then you're going to be in a good spot. And I think that that's where Cam Holmes is as well. Now, there's a lot of other players that we need to break down here. There's, like I said, there's quite a few guys that we haven't talked about yet that I'm excited to see, that I've never seen before. But first, Gametime, check it out. Download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, check out the Gametime app for the people by the people. Here's the deal. If you're looking to go to a game and you're like, man, I don't want to have to do that because of I don't think I'll be able to get tickets. I don't think I'll be able to do whatever. Gametime is here, my friends. Check it out for you. You will thank me later on this one. Gametime, again, this is where it's at. The great thing about Gametime as well is that you know that you can get last-minute tickets. You can get a smorgasbord of all kinds of things, and that is the great thing about it, is that you know that that you're going to be able to get concert tickets, basketball tickets, a lot of different things. Gametime has you covered. Again, check it out. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, let's talk a little bit about where some of these other players here that you probably should know about. The next one are the House Twins. Okay, now, one twin is much, much better than the other one. And not only is he much better, like one is probably ranked about 35 in the country. The other one is ranked probably, somewhere around, 160, something like that. And so again, with those guys, I think that you need to be able to keep in mind that they're probably going to be a package deal. And honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world, especially too, if you know that they're going to be a package deal. And, the one guy, it's not like this is a Tabellus brothers situation where that one of them will never, ever be able to play for you. That is something that you don't necessarily want to have happen. But this is the situation where, who knows? Maybe the other one also turns out to be good as well. But the one that you really need to be able to keep an eye on is Caden House. He's very, very good. Not only is he very, very good, he's also the guy who, is going to be able to probably get buckets right away. He's going to be very, very quick. He's got that going for him. It's also going to be interesting to see. Exactly what happens with basically this entire House family, because with ASU, all right. They didn't probably end well with Jalen House, but you got more coming up here as well. We'll find out here. I'm excited to see him. I haven't seen either one of them in 2 years now. Again, I believe they're both at Compass Prep now. They've moved on to a different spot, so that's going to be interesting to see. But overall, though, I'm excited to see what they can do. I think a big part of all of this is that. Arizona is going to try to get the most dynamic guards that they can. And I think another thing, Arizona needs guys, and I'm going to keep coming back to this. Arizona needs guys that can keep making plays off the bounce. If you can get guys that can make plays off the bounce, that is going to make Tommy Lloyd's life a lot easier. Now, with Lloyd, I think that a big part of all of this is that you need to be able to, have guys that when everything breaks down, you're going to be able to make some plays. That's going to be exciting. I'm excited to see exactly what they can all do. Now, another player to keep an eye on that I have not seen also from Dream City, Akina Alozie. Now, again, he has played very, very well, and he's going to be excited to see. I'm excited to see exactly what he can do. He's been on the net. He's been on the radar, obviously, for a while at Dream City again. Arizona's got a nice little connection at Dream City because of obviously TJ Benson and another kid that's got an NBA future to him. He's very, very good. I think what's also intriguing about him too is that you look at him and he's still very young. You can tell that there's still a lot for him to grow. There's still a lot for him to learn. And once he gets there, I think he's going to probably be in a pretty good spot. But Arizona, like I said, has to feel very, very good about where they are with him, because if they go all out, and this is something that we've talked about before with Tommy Lloyd, when he goes all out for a player, that he is going to, that he feels that he's got a real chance for them, and he doesn't waste time. And maybe it annoys some people, but I've really grown to kind of respect that. Now, the one thing about it, though, is that if you are going to recruit these kids, you got to get in on them early, because if you're only going to prioritize a few, that's got to be a big part of this. And I think that's something that Arizona is doing a very, very nice job on. I have no qualms, though, that they're going to be able to get some really nice players. And honestly, I think 2025 is going to be a massive class for the U of A. I think that there's going to be a litany of players that I think it's going to turn out to be Tommy Lloyd's best class. And it would not surprise me at all if you were able to get 3 or 4 McDonald's All-American types. And if you get that, then obviously it's game on. And you look at it and you're like, all right, well, Tommy Lloyd has also shown as well that he knows how to bring in the transfer portal kids. So again, like I said, there is a lot to like about all of this. So we will find this out. But with 2025, an ideal class, I think you're looking at something like a Koa Pete, a Zavon Staten, a Brayden Burries, and a let's see here, a Tunde Yesufu. That would be the ideal class. If you can get that one, sign me up for 2, and then you start looking at point guards, other players that could fill that out. But 2025, I think you're looking at a monster class for the U of A. I would be very surprised if this wasn't the best one that he has at this point. So we will definitely keep you up to date on all of that. But Arizona, like I said, and the great thing about Section 7, go on up there and check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's at Glendale Arena. You got about 8 courts going all at once, and it's just like like I said, it's a really good spot. And so again, check it out. Now, with another player that will be there that we need to talk about a little bit is somebody that we're going to talk about in just a second. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now another one that we need to talk about, Zavon Staten. Love Zavon Staten. Very, very good player. Like I said, we've talked about him before. He can get up and down the court. He can move. What's exciting about him as well is that he can block shots. I am all for guys that can block shots. And I think you take one of those each class, and then you deal with it. Afterwards, whether if not, they can actually play. You've already got one in Emmanuel Steven. And like I said, I think it's that Christian Coloco type trajectory where you're like, all right, you're raw. You're going to take probably a little bit of time to develop, but once you develop and you're all there, it's going to be something very nice to watch. And I think that's kind of where Zavon Staten is. Now, again, he's better than Emmanuel Steven. He's further along than Emmanuel Steven. There's really no comparison in that regard, but that's what I'm talking about, though. I take one of those type of players every single class, and then I deal with it later. But I'm excited to see him as well. Like I said, this is going to be kind of a one-stop shop. There's going to be a lot of players there that the U of A is recruiting, and since a lot of them are in-state guys, you're going to see, I think, a little bit of a cross-section as well of players that both schools are recruiting. Now, if they're smart, they're going to go to the University of Arizona because, again, Arizona is better than Arizona's better than ASU, obviously, but we will, like I said, we're going to find this one out. But it's like I said, it's going to be a fun time. So those are some of the names that you need to know. Also, the other names that you need to know, we've got some more football news for you as well. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Arizona got a wide receiver commit, Terry Shelton, and I like this kid a lot. What I like about Shelton is that he's 6'4". You've got to be able to get a bunch of different guys that are able to go up and high point the ball, especially losing T-Mac. With T-Mac, at 6'5", he gives you a very unique aspect because he's big and he's got great hands. It's hard to lose T-Mac and then replace him with a wide receiver who's 5'8". You do not want to do that, and not only do you not want to do that, you want to be able to prepare for the eventuality because the T-Mac is likely gone after next year. He's showing up on first-round draft boards, and he should. So one thing that makes him great and one thing that Arizona has had is you've had bigger wide receivers. You look at Malachi Riley, you look at Montana Lamonius Craig, and you look at T-Mac. I mean, that's going to be one of the bigger wide receiver groups in the entire country. Now, listen, you're going to lose Montana and you're going to lose T-Mac. You'll still have Malachi Riley. So you're going to want to replace them with bigger wide receivers. You got that now with Sean Robinson. You've also got that now with Terry Shelton. And we'll find out exactly how they fit in. But again, another nice little commit and something that Arizona is doing a nice job of. You look at this offense all of a sudden, and they're recruiting pretty nicely. Robert McDaniel, nice little pickup at that quarterback spot. Obviously, high 3-star, maybe a low 4-star kid, depending on how you look at it. But then you got Kellen Ford, a tight end, a borderline 4-star kid. And then you got Wesley Yarborough at running back, kind of the same thing. And then you got Terry Shelton, you got Sean Robinson. This staff knows what they're doing. They know how to put together talent. It took a little bit, longer than I think some people expected, but that's also to be expected because, again, you don't really have those relationships. It takes time to build some of this. But I think Brent Brennan and his staff are showing out that they know exactly what they're doing. Now, when it comes to this roster and whatnot, it's going to be fascinating to see how this all does play out, but we will keep you with it every single day of the week. Now, next week, we are going to talk to you a lot about Section 7, how everybody played. There is a lot to talk about because, again, Arizona's probably got 12 to 15 targets there, players that they're looking at very, very closely to see what they can do. And again, it wouldn't surprise me. These are where you kind of start making those connections, where you start getting those, your Carter Bryant's type, where you start really working on it, knowing that you want that kid to be part of the program. And it's at events like this where you're able to make that one occur. So we will certainly keep you in the loop on that one because, again, a lot of different guys. And again, you're looking at 2025, 2026, 2027, a lot of different dudes. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, too, we're going to keep you up with the football. Arizona's obviously got a multitude of players that they can bring in from a commitment. They've already starting to really clear out that offensive roster. It's looking pretty nice. And I think the next step is going to be able to get some linemen in there as well, some of the big guys in the trenches. You do that, then you're really filling yourself out. But Arizona, though, on both sides with Tommy Lloyd, with Brent Brennan, they obviously understand what they are doing, and it's going to be fun. But like I said, going to be a fun weekend up in Glendale. Would very much like to see you all up there because, again, it's going to be a very, very good time. And honestly, it's kind of fun to watch Tommy Lloyd go around pretending that he's not watching kids when you know exactly that he is watching kids. Plus, Bruce Pasco will be up there. But on that note, I am your host, Mike Luke. Very much appreciate you making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. We'll be back with you, and bear down and back the A.